Tonight on Elon Local News.
Coronavirus questions answered. Chair of the Ready and Resilient Committee, Jeff Stein, telling Elon News Network this afternoon to expect an alert level change in the next 24 hours. Plus, Dean of Students Janelyn Patterson on student conduct and the freshman experience.
Plus, with just 29 days to go until the election, we'll introduce you to the candidate running for North Carolina's 63rd House seat.
And shipped to your door. We'll explain how you may soon be able to receive free grocery delivery thanks to a new allocation from SGA.
Those stories and more.
Elon Local News starts right now.
Live from the Jane and Brian Williams studio at Elon University School of Communications, you're watching Elon Local News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on Elon Local News. I'm Brian Ray.
And I'm Margaret Faust. Right now, the Elon Board of Aldermen is meeting to discuss many things, including closing a portion of East Haggard Avenue that runs through campus. Our Maeve Ashbrook is following the meeting and joins us now live from the newsroom. Maeve?
Yeah, guys, the Board of Aldermen is meeting over Zoom, as you can see behind me. And part of that agenda, like you said, is the university's proposal to close East Haggard Avenue from Friday evening to Sunday evening, starting this Friday and every subsequent weekend until at least the end of the semester. Now, the reasoning from the university in that proposal is to create a large outdoor gathering space for students on the road and the two lawns next to it. It is important to note that the town's gathering outdoor limits right now are 25 people, but academic institutions are often exempt from those mass gathering limits. Now, this proposal was announced to the community in an email from University President Connie Book October 2nd, addressing the convoy that recently drove through campus. Student Government Association Vice President Jonathan Settler says he's always been nervous about the road being open, but it's the convoy that encouraged him to go to the meeting tonight and express his concern for the road being open.
So many of my friends feel unsafe walking across campus. My BIPOC friends and all of the women on campus I know have been harassed and catcalled at some point in time on that road and others. So.
Now, President Book also announced in that email that she has created a roundtable of students, faculty, and staff to address concerns brought up by the convoy and how to address them. We have a source on that roundtable saying that it met for the first time today over Zoom. That's all the news I have for you guys tonight. Back to you in the studio.
Maeve Ashbrook, thank you. And you can read more on what develops at this meeting later tonight on our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
Within the next 24 hours, the university can expect to see a change in our COVID-19 alert level status. That's what Chair of the Ready and Resilient Committee, Jeff Stein, told me earlier today when we spoke. We began tonight, though, with Stein discussing the differences between each level of the alert system. Here's what he had to say.
That question comes from the fact that when we were in the new normal and moved to moderate, you didn't see extreme shifts in that moment. But you saw, as we moved to high alert, more specific and significant shifts or reductions. So my answer to you would be, it's very dependent on the situation.
So how concerned is the Ready and Resilient Committee about students maybe seeing cases going down and feeling free to resume some other social activity in their normal life?
I think the question that we all have to keep in mind is if there is the potential that we as individuals could be infected, or our friends or neighbors, how do we behave? So I'm answering a different question because I think we all have to keep our guard up at all times. And the big reason for that is this is a virus that presents asymptomatically. And it's human nature to let down our guard, right? And it's human nature to want to have contact with people. That's what college is supposed to be about. So I think no matter where the numbers are, we all have to be really careful. And we have to hold ourselves individually accountable.
Looking ahead to winter term and spring semester, what can students, faculty, and staff expect for those?
It's a great question. The university is still assessing how we can best develop the schedule, as well as testing, as well as structures on campus, so we can make both winter and spring great experiences, but very safe. So as we continue our testing research, I think that will have impact on our decisions about winter and spring. I would be surprised, no one has said this, but I would be surprised if we had, a big long spring break and lots of travel opportunities during the semester. I would assume we will have the same sort of approach that we have had this fall, but really that hasn't been decided yet.
Stein said students can expect communication from the university in the coming weeks about the payment for the required pre-semester COVID-19 test. He also talked about the testing process leading up to the spring semester and the costs associated.
We certainly are looking at cost and how we can do this well, but in an affordable fashion, and how to make sure we're not putting that cost on families. That testing that we had to do quickly before fall was, I think, frustrating for lots of folks, the cost involved. And so, as you've seen, our random testing throughout the semester, the university has paid for that, and we want to try to continue to be the provider and to cover that. So while cost is certainly a driver, there are these other factors about effectiveness, accuracy, and speed that seem to be even more important.
Our full conversation with Stein is on our YouTube channel if you search ELN News Network on YouTube.
New tonight, President Donald Trump is expected to depart Walter Reed Medical Center at 6:30 after spending the last 3 nights there following a positive COVID-19 test. At least 17 people who were at the Rose Garden over a week ago for President Trump's Supreme Court nomination of Amy Coney Barrett have now tested positive for coronavirus. One of those is freelance photographer and Elon Local News alumnus Al Drago, who worked the event for the New York Times. In a statement to Elon News Network, Drago said, quote, "I tested positive for COVID-19 this past Friday after being on assignment at the White House last weekend, covering the Supreme Court nominee announcement in the Rose Garden. I am quarantining in my apartment in Washington, D.C. and am beginning to feel better while keeping my spirits high." Drago, who graduated in 2015, was Elon's undergraduate commencement speaker in 2019.
North Carolina House District 63 is one of 2 House districts here in Alamance County. It begins just east of Elon and stops in Mebane at the border of the county. University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill instructor Ricky Hurtado and incumbent Representative Stephen Ross are the 2 candidates running for the district's seat in the North Carolina House of Representatives. Our Maeve Ashbrook tells us where Hurtado and Ross stand on current issues.
2 candidates, 1 goal.
Currently, our leaders are failing us.
In this job, experience counts.
Democratic candidate Ricky Hurtado and incumbent Republican candidate Stephen Ross are both running to represent North Carolina's 63rd district, which includes the city of Graham, where the Confederate monument in Alamance County stands. Hurtado says he supports the monument being moved to an educational setting.
I think that we certainly have to find ways to continue telling the full story of Alamance County and why that statue was there to begin with, but it certainly shouldn't be in a place of seat of power in our community.
But Ross says the decision simply shouldn't be up to the district's state representative, but instead the Alamance County commissioners.
When you try to go in and make a decision for a community, that's when you usually create more problems. I've always been, and I may even be the largest proponent in the General Assembly for local control.
Hurtado says current leaders are not doing enough to respond to racial injustice in the county, including recent incidents right here in Elon where Trump supporters yelled racist comments at students and faculty.
Racism has no place in our community, and that's what we saw firsthand through Elon's campus and throughout Alamance County. I think it's incumbent on all leaders of our community at the local and state level to speak out against such injustice.
Ross says he was out of town the weekend of the convoy, but wishes the county didn't have to worry about comments being made.
I still don't know exactly what happened, but if things were said that I've heard were said, it's unfortunate. There's no place for that anywhere.
As North Carolina continues to reopen amid the coronavirus pandemic, Ross says the process could have been smoother, but Hurtado says he is fully in support of Governor Roy Cooper's decisions. Maeve Ashbrook, Elon Local News.
To read more about both candidates, their individual platforms, and their stances on reopening North Carolina, visit our website elonnewsnetwork.com and click the Politics tab. Still to come tonight, freshman parents hoping to help their students' social life. We'll tell you what they're doing.
Also, how SGA is trying to limit your exposure to coronavirus at local stores. We'll explain right after this.
Parents of new students are expressing concerns about their children's limited social life on campus under coronavirus guidelines. With Elon's level 3 high alert status, new students cannot have visitors in their dorm rooms or eat with friends inside dining halls. Elon parents have shared these challenges through various Facebook groups. Freshman mother and admin of the Elon Parents Class of 2024 Facebook group, Melissa Bolenbach, says Elon needs to come up with a plan for these new students if this level 3 status continues.
I almost feel that the university needs to look at, okay, what can we do if we do still need to kind of keep them within their groups of residence hall people or their small pods? Like, is there something else that they can do?
Some parents suggest using Elon's campus to host smaller socially distant events outside. Other parents offer to plan and host virtual activities for their new students. Bolenbach says whatever the event may be, many parents are willing to step in to help their child feel like a member of the Elon community.
From what I've seen with parents, again, very supportive parents with Elon. So get us involved. And I mean, I know that we would be happy as a family to do what we could to support something like that. I think that could really go a long way.
New students and their families can register for the ongoing virtual Family Fall events as part of this year's Family Weekend. Many of these events will be happening live on the Elon Parents Facebook page.
We spoke with Dean of Students Janalyn Patterson today, and she says first-year students should try their best to safely get involved.
It's difficult. We certainly recommend students spend time engaging in class. And as they can on their halls. I know they can't visit like they would normally, but it still means you can also have connections with folks in your residence halls, and as well as participating in student organizations and events that are sponsored by the Office of Student Involvement.
Now turning to student conduct, at this point in the semester, how many students have been suspended?
At the last count, and I don't know it's the most accurate count, there had been 8, but there are several more that are still in the process. And so we are moving through those cases as quickly as we can, but as thoroughly as we can. We certainly, take very seriously what that means for students and means for their academic careers. And so our student conduct staff is being very thorough, which takes time because many times if it involves, an event where there's 15 or 20 people, they have to go through the interview process with all 15 or 20 people. We certainly don't receive a lot of police reports from large gatherings off campus. Although we are receiving more reports from students initiating conduct reports about off-campus events than police reports right now.
So if you find that a student is violating one of these student conduct rules, would that affect their eligibility to play their sport?
It depends on certainly if a student is suspended, it's going to affect their eligibility if they're not able to continue in the university or to make satisfactory academic progress. Short of that, it would be analogous to whether a student is on probation and their organization affiliation might be compromised. For some student organizations, once a student goes on disciplinary probation, they're not able to continue in that organization. That's not the same across student organizations. So I think at that point, it would be an athletics department decision for anything less than a suspension. But a suspension means a student's not going to be here. So I would say by de facto, it would affect their ability to participate in athletics.
Our full conversation, with Patterson is on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and search Elon News Network.
Student Government Association is hoping to have a program up and running within the next week that will deliver groceries, prescriptions, and other goods right to your door. SGA is partnering with Shipt, a mobile delivery service, to fund 1,001 year-long memberships for students. Once it's up, you'll use your Elon login to get into the app. You'll then choose your store, CVS, Target, Harris Teeter, and select your delivery time. A Shipt shopper will then pick up your items and deliver them to your dorm, apartment, or house. Haley Juergens is the author of the legislation that passed through SGA. She hopes the program will decrease students' contact with people off campus.
A lot of people that I've talked to aren't even comfortable going into the Burlington environment. Their masks, although mandated by North Carolina, are being strictly upheld in Target and other off-campus stores and stuff like that.
SGA is spending $69,000 on the program, that money coming from the reserve fund, which is also used to fund student organizations. Juergens says with SGA funding more than 1,000 memberships, 1,001, the monthly cost can decrease from $79 a month to $69. Membership covers the cost of delivery if the order is more than $35.
It makes a lot more sense from a strategic standpoint to decrease the cost and have SGA cover the 1,001 memberships to decrease to $69. And then if 1,002 students sign up, then the university can deal with that $69 coverage.
Subscriptions are first come, first serve. It's only a year-long partnership, so Juergens says if Elon wishes to continue with Shipt next year, it will have to be proposed and passed through SGA again.
October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and to recognize the time, Elon's Gender and LGBTQIA Center is partnering with more than 25 student organizations to start Elon Empowers, a social media campaign promoting sexual violence prevention. Content director for the campaign, Angela Myers, who is studying sexual violence prevention for her Lumen Prize, says the purpose of the campaign is to change perceptions on the topic and to help teach bystanders how they can feel empowered to stop sexual violence.
I think people's biggest misconceptions around a lot of social justice issues in general is that they can't do anything, or they see really horrible things happening in the world and then they feel powerless. So I think that hopefully we can start to kind of change that misconception and show people that there is something to do.
The campaign will have 4 themed weeks, with this week promoting the idea that prevention is possible. The campaign starts tomorrow on the GLC's Instagram page @ElonGLC.
You're watching Elon Local News.
While more than 12 semester-long study abroad programs are canceled for this spring, several are still planned to go on as scheduled, but with some restrictions. Elon Jr. Allie Scheinfeld has always dreamed of studying abroad and exploring the world. Scheinfeld was looking forward to traveling to Barcelona this fall until the COVID-19 pandemic canceled her plans. She now plans on traveling to Sorrento, Italy this spring, and is grateful to be on campus now with her friends.
At a certain point, you have to stop being upset about it because there's nothing any of us can do about it. So right now I feel okay with it. I'm happy to be at Elon and just hopeful that I'll get another opportunity in the future.
Elon's Director of Study Abroad, Bill Burris, says students will largely be confined to their designated location. Burris believes students should still be grateful for the opportunity.
The advantages of really getting to know a place sort of outweigh the ability to go all sorts of different places. And I know that students might disagree with me on that, and that's fine. But I think that if I'm telling you you're going to study abroad in Florence, but you have to sort of spend your whole semester in Florence or Tuscany, that's not really the worst possible outcome.
Currently, 480 Elon students are planning on studying abroad next semester.
Brian, I have started to notice really a change in the weather. I was out walking this morning and I was freezing cold.
Yeah, definitely. I like to sleep with my window open around this time because a nice cool air comes in, but it is kind of a nice change.
I mean, the good news is that it is warming up in the afternoon, so I am looking forward to that. Outside on Citron Plaza, we have Hope Suire with some of our weather updates. Hope?
Thanks, Margaret and Brian. The sun is setting out here in downtown Elon, but it's time for your Phoenix 5-day forecast. Currently, it's 68 degrees, but there's no need for a jacket this week. As you're heading out the door tomorrow for classes, expect to see sunny skies with a high of 77 and a low of 55. For our one-day fall break on Wednesday, make sure you take advantage of the sun and the 82-degree weather. On Thursday, we will see the sun again with a high of 79 and a low of 57. Heading into the weekend, expect to see some clouds on Friday with a high of 70 and a low of 59. On Saturday, go ahead and pull out your rain jacket and expect some rain with a high of 70 and a low of 63. Have a great week, and back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Hope.
Coming up, using her award-winning talents for a cause. We'll meet Eliza Spear next. Elon Jr. Eliza Spear is using her voice to give back. Inspired by the social unrest of this summer, Spear wrote a song advocating for change in regard to the Black Lives Matter movement. The song, titled If I Don't Try, went on to win the 2020 Jay Gorney Award from the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers Foundation in August. The award from the ASCAP Foundation is given to unaffiliated songwriters who present a message of social justice in their music. Spear says she wants her song to encourage listeners to remember, while it may be daunting, the change starts with us. She says she's truly honored to receive her award and be a part of ASCAP.
I mean, I'm very, very humbled, but I also think that, like, the main focus of the song is to motivate people to fight for justice, so I just want this award to do that as well.
All proceeds from Spear's merchandise featuring the song are donated to the Loveland Foundation, which focuses on financially assisting Black women seeking therapy. To hear Spear's full song, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
That's all the news we have for you today. Thank you for joining us.
For all the news you need to know when we're not on the air, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
And be sure to follow us on social media at Elon News Network.
Have a great night and stay healthy, Elon.